Right, I'm going to do something I have not done with this channel before, and I'm going to talk about my truck. I drive a Ram 3500. I've had it for 4.5 years now, and it's been a pretty good truck. It requires a lot of maintenance, like any big diesel does, and my truck probably sees a little bit different use than a lot of diesels, a lot of these big trucks do. This thing sees a lot of sort of 4x4 action. And I mean, more so than most big trucks do. I mean, these trucks are designed for hauling. They're designed for loggers and stuff like that. Guys that are working in the forest and stuff, but they're typically not, running up rock strewn, boulder strewn trails and stuff. And yeah, sure, some of them are. Mine is. So hence it's had rear suspension replaced and things like that. But, one of the biggest struggles with the truck, though, has been tires. And the same with my Ram 2500 before that. The Ram 2500, I had multiple sets of Goodyear, Wrangler, Duratracs on that. Had separations with those a couple of times, and then went away from them, sold the truck, and then went to this Ram 3500 that I have. Now, I'm on my 4th or 5th set of tires in 4.5 years, which says something about how hard the truck is on tires, but mainly it says something about the quality of the tires that I've picked. So starting off from the beginning, I had the Transforce AT tires on it. Those lasted about a year of traveling between Idaho and British Columbia. They lasted a winter. They were really good in the snow. We did some pretty epic trips from Idaho through Montana in insane snow. My neighbor said they shoveled our driveway 3 or 4 times that day. And so I did like those tires. Then I switched to the Ridge Grapplers from Nito at some point in that too. And those tires I barely got 3/4 of a year out of before the first set was getting to the point where I knew they weren't safe for the winter. Then I went and bought another set of them. I liked the traction on them. They were pretty good. And that set, not so much. Got up to British Columbia. Tires were practically brand new. And my first run up to one of the courses that I was teaching up there, this is on a road that vans and cars drive on, okay? And the tires had chunked out. 1.5 hours of pea gravel, and these things were chunked out. I was so mad. Just absolute trash. So 2 of those sets of tires, and then, I ended up getting a pair of what they called Cooper Discover ATSs or something like that. I ran them last winter, and then I put what was left of the Nito Ridge Grapplers back on, ran them till they were dead this summer, and then I went and put the Coopers back on. Grand total of miles on the Coopers was about maybe 7,000 miles. They weren't even ready for their first rotation, and I'm on my way to Utah the Tuesday before American Thanksgiving to teach a course down there. I pull off, I drive down a country road, get back on the highway, and my truck's pulling really hard to the right. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I get into this little town in Utah, middle of nowhere. I've got a flat tire. And I switch that tire, I go into a tire store, I have them switch it off. And as we're taking the tire off, we see that there's a big separation on the sidewall of the tire. And I'll show you a picture of that. So that was the end of that tire, and I ended up running the spare on that tire to get me home through the worst storm we've had all year. And we're talking like 10 vehicles in the ditch in an hour kind of thing, and so on. And got back, got the tire replaced. And I should tell you, previous to that, with that tire, I was having to run around in 4-wheel drive in my neighborhood, which was kind of ridiculous to me. In spite of that, with 4-wheel drive in, I was also having the back end of the truck slip all over the place, despite the fact that there's a lot of weight in there too. There's tools and AR-500 targets and so on. And so I obviously wasn't too happy with those tires. So I switched out. I went back to Discount Tire in my neighboring town, and I picked up a set of Pathfinder ATSs. These are one of the cheaper tires that I could get. I'm grateful to Discount Tire for honoring the tire warranty and stuff on them, and giving me a more than fair shakedown with the switch out to the new ones, because the other tires had a year on them. And I went from having to use two-wheel or four-wheel drive in my truck to get around to running two-wheel drive again with these Pathfinder ATSs. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. I mean, one, the tires are a lot better in their design. Two, they're a harder compound, which in my mind, with these big trucks, works better than the soft compounds, because the soft compounds like the Cooper Discoverers, the Nitto Ridge Grapplers and stuff, those tend to sort of wash back and forth. And what I mean by that is that the treads will bend back and forth, and the design of these Pathfinders is such that each of the tread blocks is sort of like a pyramid with the top cut off, so there's more of an angle to the sidewalls of these, so they clean better. The siping in the tires runs lateral, so it also keeps you. Let's see what's going on with my gimbal here. Oh, that's odd. Okay, sorry guys. It keeps you from it gets that bite. I mean, you've got better braking action that way than, having siping that's at diagonals and stuff. It keeps the truck keeps those tread blocks from leaning, back and forth, side to side, and it gives, excellent traction. So, now that I've had these on there for about 3 weeks, and it's been snowing the whole time, sorry, I'm getting used to this gimbal thing. It's been really good. I'm really impressed with it. With this set of tires. So I figured I'd talk about it, because there's a lot of guys out there that, are like me. They're, using their truck for truck stuff. And, you get pretty much hammered on tires running these big vehicles. They're 8,500 pounds and they're hard on tires. Especially if you're told something's going to last 30 or 40,000 miles, and then you get like 20,000 out of it. That's a big hit to the pocketbook. So check them out. Pathfinder ATSs, really good tires. I'm just going to throw this video up pretty much unedited and show you what these things look like.